Good morning, everybody. MG here, MGCovers, coming to you live on week 5 of the NFL season. Got a little bit different format. I'm going to do this preview here. We're recording this Sunday morning about 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Got a lot of things to get to. We're going to talk about, we're going to give you, the big thing is I'm going to give you a free play here at the end of this video. We're going to talk about the website, YouTube channel, how you can get access to be able to create your own lines for all the sports. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to preview all of these NFL games. We're going to show you the line, give you a little bit of information about where the betting's going, and also give you my spread for the plays as well. Actually, my line for the game. So we'll start it out. Baltimore-Pittsburgh. Interesting matchup. Pittsburgh got on the win column last week. They're still the dog at home at +3. You got 54% of the tickets on Pittsburgh, 46% on Baltimore. My line for this game via my stat model is Baltimore -14. So a lot of value there on the Baltimore side. Next game, Chicago-Oakland. Chicago, really good defense here. Oakland is the dog at home +6.5. 6.5 is a very important line. What that means is if Chicago wins by a touchdown, they're going to also cover the game. Majority of tickets on Chicago, 63%. Oakland, only 37% of the tickets. I should tell you, this is an actual screenshot of sportsbookreview.com. A little sip of coffee, and I'm not affiliated with this site in any way, shape, form. So what this site does is they take all of the money, all of the tickets from all of these offshore books, and that's how they come up with this number here. And those of you that are not familiar with this number, you're new. This means a majority of tickets. So if a person bets, $5 on Chicago or $5,000 on Chicago, that's going to go into this pool. It doesn't break down the money. There are sites, and you can actually get that information where the money's going. So anyway, my line again, Chicago -3, so a very small spread differential there. Arizona-Cincinnati. Arizona is the dog +3. I have Cincinnati -6, so Cincinnati's the favorite. And even though you have 61% of the tickets going on Arizona. Next game, Jacksonville, Carolina. This is a good point to make. When you see 50%, I've talked about this in previous videos. This means you have sharp money on both sides here. This is actually what the sports books like to a degree, but it's definitely, you can't really say Jacksonville, Carolina is a public team. So you can make a case for playing either side. Jacksonville is the dog here at +3. My line for this game, I have Jacksonville at -8. So I have Jacksonville as the favorite, and that gives us an 11-point spread differential, which is what you want when you're creating online. So Minnesota, next game, they're the favorite -6. I have the Giants favorite in this one at -3. So that's another game. That's a 9-point differential there, and you have 59% of the tickets on Minnesota, so it feels like the public still perceives Minnesota as the better team. And I've talked about this in previous videos. When you look at a line, what factors in to a sports book creating a line is based on public's perception. Not so much a statistical line, but how the public perceives that team. Minnesota is still perceived as a better team than the Giants, even though Cousins has sort of struggled. Next game, New England, Washington. Very interesting when you look at my stat model. I'm going to show you this a little bit later. The line is New England -16.5. My line for this game is the exact same number, actually off a half point, -16. So not a lot of value there. Again, New England is perceived as this really good team. They're blowing out teams. I think the game they didn't cover was against Jacksonville, and you will continue to see these big spreads until somebody's able to play them close or actually beat them. Jets, Philadelphia. Jets had the week off. Surprised that this line was as big as it is. Philadelphia -14. My line is Philly -6. So an 8-point spread differential there. However, Jets are the worst passing team in the NFL. Next game, Tampa, New Orleans. I'm going to point out something important when you look at the numbers here. 46% of the tickets on Tampa, 54% on New Orleans. My line for this game is Tampa -2, even though there's a dog here at +3. So I actually have Tampa as the favorite. And what I want to point out, so this shows tickets. This is not money. So you look at 54% of the tickets are coming in New Orleans. The line opened at -5.5. And you would think if the majority of tickets and money was going on New Orleans, that this line would continue to increase so that they could get money on Tampa. Well, actually, if you look here, the line went down. So that means you had majority of the tickets on New Orleans, but the line went down. So now it's at -3. What that means is you have, it's what we call reverse line movement. Some big money, sharp money coming in on Tampa here, even though they only have 46% of the tickets. Next game, Atlanta-Houston. Houston -4. I have this line Houston -1, so not a huge difference there, only 3 points. Buffalo-Tennessee. Looks like Allen is going to start. He's out of concussion protocol. Will start today. Buffalo, really good defense. Buffalo is the dog here. Tennessee, -3. Tennessee's had some good games and some not so good games. One big and got blown out big. Buffalo +3. I have Buffalo as the favorite at -2 in there. So we get a 5-point differential there. Denver Chargers. LA Chargers -5.5. My line for this game is Chargers -10. So a 5.5, 4.5 point differential there. And the big game everybody's looking at this week, Green Bay Dallas. Dallas is the favorite at home -3.5. Green Bay the dog +3.5. I have Green Bay as the favorite at -2, so we get a 5.5 point differential there. Indianapolis, Kansas City. Kansas City is the favorite -10.5. Again, they're a very public team now. Patrick Mahomes, probably the best quarterback in the NFL. However, my line for this game is Indy -3. Now, we'll tell you about my stat model, and those of you that have followed me know this already. The stat model is strictly 100% objective. There's no subjectivity factored into that. Whatever the stat model says, that's the line that I use. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to play that team. It's just the beauty of having a stat model. Again, there's 2 parts to this. You have to handicap objectively, which is a stat model, and you have to handicap objectively, which is different situational angles like coaching, how does that team perform at home. So whatever the stat model says, that's the number that I use for that game. Doesn't mean I'm going to play it or not play it, but there's no bias in that line. And then finally, I forgot the Monday night game, have San Francisco -4, and I actually have San Francisco -4 as well. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, if you look over here, these are my power rankings, and it's how I create my lines. And I'm going to give you, we're going to look at one game, and I'm going to give you my free pick as well when we do this. If you look at, let's look at Jacksonville here. Their power ranking is 307. And if you scroll down here, Carolina Panthers, their power ranking is 285. Now, my power rankings and how I create my lines is a combination of time of possession, rushing yards, and turnover margin, and I factor all that in to create a power ranking number that I use to create my own lines. Now, the reason I use those stats, sound like I was going through puberty there, right? Voice changing, is that if you go look at a box score in the NFL, more times than not, teams that wins time of possession will win the game. And a lot of times that's true in college as well. And so you might say to yourself, well, time of possession is an offensive stat. That is wrong. It's a defensive stat as well. So think about this. If a team on defense creates a lot of 3 and outs, that means that offense is not going to be on the field as much, and that means their team is going to get the ball back and have possess the ball more, and that therefore will create more scoring opportunities. So time of possession is a very, very, very good stat to look at when handicapping NFL and also college football. All right, so back to the game here. Jacksonville's 307, Carolina Panthers 285. So what I do to factor it, I take 285 divided by 307. That gives me 0.92. I subtract 1, so that gives me the line of -8. So therefore, I have Jacksonville as the favorite, and the free play selection, see if I got this right, is, see if I can find my notes here, my bad, is going to be Jacksonville +155. We're going to play it on the money line. And if you've watched, if you haven't watched, you might want to do that. Watch my video on how to handicap the NFL Part 1. I talk about playing dogs on the money line. A lot of value in doing that. So that's the play +155, because teams that cover more often than not also win the game, or vice versa. In fact, I did some research last night. College football last week, teams that won and covered were 37-20. That is 65%. College football last week, teams that win also cover. So if you're not playing money line dogs in NFL and college football, you are missing out. And the beauty of it is, if you play, say, 2 money line dogs in a day, and that's what you have on your card, you can go 1-1 and still have a winning day. Whereas if you play spread lines, if you play a team at -3.5, another team at, say, +5.5, you win one and lose one, we're going to have a losing day. So you'll end up paying juice in that one. Whereas if you play 2 money line dogs, 1-1, you have a winning day. So free pick for today: Jacksonville +155. A couple other housekeeping details. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, MGCovers, this is it right here. I'll put a link in the description. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, all you have to do is subscribe. My brain's fried from the weekend. I have a lot of good videos. I have a How to Handicap NFL Parts 1, Parts 2, and Parts 3 are on here. How to Handicap Soccer, I have that listed here. College football, some betting previews, another video on how to profit from college football parlays, and just handicapping videos in general. So greatly appreciate a subscribe there. Now, if you see these power rankings here and you scroll over to my website, MGCovers.com, see where it says join, subscribe to power rankings, you can actually get those power rankings each week for the NFL, and you can handicap and create your own lines, not only for NFL, but also for NHL that's coming up in probably 2 weeks. I'll start releasing my plays for NHL and also have my stat model for NHL. We have soccer power rankings. You'll be able to get those as well, and also NCAA basketball when it starts. So how this works is, this is the site. You sign up here. You get 3 days for $1. So all it costs is to join is $1 for 3 days, and then $19.95 a month after that. So once you join, if you say, hey, it's not for me, I don't like it, well, you can cancel within that 3 days, and all you pay was the $1. If you say, hey, this is cool, I like being able to create my own lines, just stay subscribed. It's $19.95 a month. And if you would like to get all of my plays for all sports, if this will load, boom, $49.95 a month. That is a huge deal. That's soccer, college football, NFL football, etc. And so we'll go back to this screen here, and did I cover everything? I think I did. One last detail, those of you that are new here, just to give you my records up to date. NFL, we're 12-8, up 6.21 units. That includes preseason, so a $100 player would be up $621. Soccer, we had our first losing weekend in soccer this past weekend, although we're still positive for the year. 13-12 is a record, up 3.7 units there. NCAA football, 11-11, up 0.91 units, so still positive in all fall sports. So anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we will talk to you soon. Peace.